Hello, good evening, and welcome to Conway Hall. Welcome to this special event of Galha LGBT Humanists that this evening we're holding in association with London Trans Diversity. I'm Richard Unwin, I'm the chair of Galha. Galha's been promoting LGBT rights from a humanist perspective for over 35 years. We have a varied range of events. We've got 4 great speakers this evening, and they're each going to speak for 10 minutes. Now I'm going to hand you over from London Trans Diversity, Martha Dunkley. Oh.
Right, thank you. Thank you so much, Galha, for hosting this event. This is a very notable opportunity, and we love you for it, and we intend to keep this relationship up, so yeah. In reverse order, tonight we'll be hearing from the feisty performance poet, A.J. McKenna, academic Natasha Kennedy, who will speak on gender issues, as is her speciality and her doctorate, as very soon, we hope, yeah? So does she. C.N. Lester, blogger, musician, fabulous contralto singer, and a scholar and a gentleman. Well, so he says, and I believe him. But first, the very, very fabulous Miss Kimberly.
Thank you, baby.
Oh, dear. Oh,
Great. Good evening, everybody. My name is Miss Kimberly, and for those of you who don't know me, I am an entertainer, but now I'm finding myself becoming a trans activist. I'm coming to you tonight with my own personal experience from clubs, the entertainment world, hospitality, and events. I'm not trying to come across as if I've been so hard done by. I do realize that I do make mistakes. This is only my own experience, and maybe I got a few things wrong. This is just my opinion. First, I would like to start by saying that there are some lovely cis gay men in the LGBTQ community who do understand and are willing to learn about being transgender. People are evolving with evolution and queer culture and the trans culture. On the other side of the cis gay men, I feel look at our community as tools, props, objects of curiosity, stereotypes, there to add decoration, not to be taken serious, and there for fun. I think the cis gay men I come in contact only see a certain side, not really understanding that dressing up in a nightclub or for television or for film is not always about being a transgender woman. Speaking with a gay friend who told me that most gay men are not transphobic. They just don't get it. It sort of reminded me of people who say they're not racist, but blacks are not welcome. When I was in Edinburgh, I spoke to a friend who informed me that I had to realize that some gay men are traditional. I said, what about traditional trans women? Speaking to some disabled friends, I've learned they have the same experience with gay men. I wondered if it's because they don't get it or they don't fit into what they perceive as a gay man they can sleep with. I asked myself, is it more important for gay men to get it, or is it more important for us to all respect each other? There's many heterosexuals who don't get homosexuality. In the 60s, there were TV commercials warning the public about homosexuality being dangerous. Sometimes I don't get it, but it doesn't give me the right to judge or discriminate. I've dated cisgender men who identify as being heterosexual. When going out in the evening to a club or to an event, I've experienced, without a doubt, there's always a gay male trying to move in. I've had gay men try to hit on the band that I'm with right in front of me. When the gay man is let down and told to back off, not by myself, the gay male gets jealous and tells the straight guy my little secret. Not knowing that any straight guy I'm gonna be with is definitely gonna know my secret because I don't wanna end up 6 feet under. If for some reason I didn't get the chance to have this conversation with the guy that I'm with, the gay guy is putting my life at risk. When working at Heaven nightclub in the 90s as a hostess, some of my colleagues did have a problem with myself. It also had to do with being a woman of color. You might be asking, how do I know that? Especially as no one is racist. I'm gonna keep it real. I have the racist hate mail to prove otherwise, which the police told me that this mail was coming from somewhere in heaven, but that's another story. Because I took a professional attitude in the office during the day, and at night I was the party girl, it wasn't easy for them to comprehend, as I should have been only there for the entertainment value. Because I had this power, I became the boss lady, asking gay men what needed to be done, what I wanted, didn't like, etc. Me as the boss lady did not go down so well. Sure, I made mistakes and most likely should have handled things a lot different. However, I did notice with the straight guys and women, they had no problems with me being the boss lady. When asked to organize shows, I would inquire about payment, of course, only to be told, just give the girls free drinks, they'll be okay with that. And I always would say, well, what about their rent? When it came to a gay male, money was thrown at them. Working with the gay press and trying to get a trans woman on the cover was impossible unless they died or sometimes not even then. Their reason was because the magazine didn't sell as well as having a gay male on the cover, which I feel is a little silly because if they took the time to open up the magazine, you will find 90% of gay men in the gay magazine. I don't want to blame these magazines because they're only trying to make money, but when I think about it, you're not going to find a hot cis male on the cover of a lesbian magazine. Sometimes I feel like I'm being punished by some of my gay friends. And I'm still trying to work out if there's a part of them that is transphobic. But I have noticed I am not allowed to ask questions, stand up for myself, tell them what I really feel. I've been kicked out of my acting agency ran by a gay male because I questioned a casting I was sent on. A young gay man called me a bully and encouraged his friends to come to my show to boo me because I told him not to post his show on my invite page. I strongly feel if I was a cis gay male or straight male, this would never have occurred. Because I'm a trans black woman, how dare I? The other night, I asked a friend who became upset at me for telling him how I felt. I asked them, what is it about me? Why can't I ask questions? As I waited for the answers, tears just rolled down my cheeks. I never got those answers. I have started to become nervous going into some gay bars. If I'm out with friends who want to have a drink, I'm more inclined to go to an open-minded straight venue. However, if and when I do go to a gay pub or club, I'm usually only there because I'm friends with the manager or the owner. I've started to feel out of place and don't really want to be around certain gay men anymore. I feel that they look down at me and others in my community. They don't listen, they talk over you. I have noticed the more real you look as a woman, it's better because you somehow fit into the straight world. I'm so happy to be a strong woman who does not care about fitting into that world. It seems that it's very important for these men to blend into normal life, straight acting. I've been told by friends these so-called straight acting men are so quick when engaging in coitus. The first thing to come out of their mouth is, "Fuck my man pussy," or "fuck my munt," which I find very interesting. In the West, gay men have got it too good. They've quickly forgotten that it wasn't always this easy. The unity is lost. And what's happening with the LGBT community is, in some parts of the world, you would think we would come together and respect each other a little better, because it could easily happen again in the West. I don't think many gay men realize, or they don't care, that the trans and queer communities, such as Marsha P. Johnson, a trans activist, played a huge part in 1969 when Stonewall was born. If it wasn't for the brave individuals fighting the police in makeup and high heels, where would we be today? It seems gay men have forgotten the struggle, or are not educated, or some just don't care. I feel it's all about who they can have sex with, and that's more important. I find it very interesting, amazingly grateful, and a little sad that some members of the heterosexual community are fighting our cause more than our own members of our own community. Women such as Angela Davis, who I've heard speak on a few occasions. Here is one of the most intelligent women in the world, who was on the FBI Most Wanted list, awarded many prestigious awards, highly respected, and has a PhD in education. And she is fighting for social justice all over the world and has been campaigning for trans rights. Every lecture I have been to hers or watched on video, this is one of her main subjects for years, even before I was born. Our president, Barack Obama, love him or hate him, he is the first president to acknowledge the LGBT community in his acceptance speech. Here's a man who is highly intelligent, was the president of Harvard University. He has a trans woman working as a member of his staff in the White House. Things are changing. Trans women have many problems to face. However, now you're seeing more and more trans men and women on TV, catwalks, they're doctors or lawyers, etc. There are now youth groups to help support trans children and their families. And people as myself and CN are going to be out there raising money to keep these organizations going. And on our path, we will recruit more and more people. Naomi Campbell gave a beautiful tribute to trans model Carmen Carrera. Tyra Banks is helping fight the cause. And before his passing, Martin Luther King and his wife fought for the rights of the LGBT community. Many may not know but his famous speech, "I Have a Dream," was set up by a member of the LGBT community. Sometimes I wonder if we really do need the cis gay men. Personally, I don't want to beg for the respect of transphobic gay men. Our community is growing and will become more financially secure. And when there is money behind us, that's when you transphobic people will take note. Our community are working together and supporting each other. And because of that, we will grow stronger. Laverne Cox is doing some amazing work helping other trans women as well as being a huge star. She is the first trans woman to be nominated for a Tony and to grace the cover of Times Magazine, which says a lot. There is also director Lana Wachowski. She's director of some of the most famous movies of our times, The Matrix, V for Vendetta, and more recently, Cloud Atlas. We still have avenues to address, like using the word tranny, but that's another story. Like it or not, we are the future. Thank you. I'd like to just take this time to read a poem that I found. It was written by a slave abolitionist in 1851. This piece was delivered at a women's convention in Akron, Ohio. Now, before I go into reading this, I know this is a humanist event, but I just want to warn you that it does talk about God in this poem. But I want to explain to you, during slavery, a lot of the black people that's the only thing they had to look up to. Okay, so don't kill me. Okay. Well, children, there's so much racket. There must be something out in the kilter. I think the women of the North and the Negroes of the South all talking about rights. Well, you white men gonna be in a fix pretty soon. But what's all that here they talking about? That man over there say that women need to be helped into carriages and lifted over ditches and to have the best place everywhere. Nobody ever helped me into a carriage or over a mud puddle or gives me the best place. And ain't I a woman? Look at me. Look at my arm. I have plowed and planted and gathered into barns, and no man can head me. And ain't I a woman? I've borne 13 children and seen most all sold off to slavery. And when I cried out with my mother's grief, none but Jesus heard me. And ain't I a woman? They talk about this thing in the head. What's that thing they talk about? Oh yeah, that's it. They talk about intellect. What's that got to do with women's rights or Negroes' rights? If my cup won't hold but a pint and yours hold a quart, wouldn't you be mean not to let me have my little half measure full? Then that little man there, he says women can't have much rights because Christ wasn't a woman. Where did your Christ come from? Where did your Christ come from? From God and a woman. Man had nothing to do with it. If the first woman God ever made was strong enough to turn the world upside down, then these women together ought to be able to turn it back, the right side up. And now they is talking to do it, and you men's better let them. Obliged to you for hearing me, and I ain't got nothing else to say. Thank you very much. Thank you.